Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned into NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 Studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, claims of victimization as scores of urban renewal workers were terminated today. Randy Frazier's SAG's conviction appeal rejected with some pretty harsh words to boot. A man is charged in connection with the Cozy Time disaster. And a shootout with police early this morning leaves 2 dead. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and NB12 starts right now. Welcome once again to NB12. Nearly 100 urban renewal workers in New Providence and Grand Bahama said they received their walking papers today, leaving many crying victimization on the part of the Progressive Liberal Party. Our Charisma Robinson spoke with a few of the people who joined the unemployment line in just a few days. Here's the story.
The majority of the 43 urban renewal workers here in New Providence are now jobless. Workers received this letter today, which says that their contract with the urban renewal program will not be renewed when it expires on June 30th. Last night, Free National Movement Chairman Charles Maynard warned that the government was getting ready to terminate these workers, calling it victimization. In fact, he lashed out at the Christie administration, saying that this action would be a clear demonstration that they are prepared to throw more Bahamians onto the unemployment line. Well, today, Maynard's claim became a harsh reality for about 35 urban renewal workers here in New Providence and even more on Grand Bahama, according to reports. Our news team spoke to a few of those people today. Fox Hill Urban Renewal Center Acting Manager Cornelia Taylor, Acting Manager at the Anglerston Urban Renewal Center Pamela Miller, and Office Assistant at the Fox Hill Urban Renewal Center Jason Springer say they are devastated.
I'm honestly still numb. And to know that the rest of my colleagues and myself, there are so many of us without jobs and we have families. I'm a single mother with 2 kids. And you know, where do we go from here? How do we move on from this point? And your political affiliation should have nothing to do with your work performance and the way that you perform, because we live in a democratic society. Whoever we support should not come before, you know, your work and your work ethics.
The reality is we were never given any kind of warning. When the police came in to send us, we knew that they were coming, based on what we hear in the news media and the print media and the social network. But we have not gotten that from our bosses. Not a single person told us anything from our bosses that this will happen.
Bread was taken away out of their mouths. And these people have children. These people have grandchildren that depend on the salaries of the Urban Renewal Program.
The remaining 8 employees are PLP supporters, according to workers. The employees who have been working with the program for quite some time say they sometimes went into their pockets to purchase food and clothing for children and elderly people in their communities. Now they say some of the connections they have developed, particularly with the children, will be shattered.
I take a great offense when they could come and just give you a letter saying that you will not be renewed because you don't believe in their vision and mission.
Meantime, Maynard is challenging Prime Minister Perry Christie not to allow these people to be sent home at the end of June, as it doesn't gel with the PLP's theme of putting Bahamians first.
In this tough economic times, to allow somebody to hit the unemployment line, to me, is unconscionable. And so you can't, in one breath, say that you put Bahamians first, and on the other hand, allow these Bahamian families to be caught in that kind of situation. Additionally, if what you want to do through your urban renewal program is impact the community, why would you dismiss these people who already have that connection to the community, who've been working with the community now for a number of years, have all the contacts with the various stakeholders in these communities? Why would you dismiss them? Why would you set the program back like that? It's fine and dandy that you have brought the police in to assist, but at the same time, those persons who would have been in the trenches in these various urban renewal offices, why would you now get rid of them?
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Works and Urban Development Philip Brave Davis told our news team that the government reserves the right not to renew certain contracts to ensure that their Urban Renewal 2.0 program is properly carried out. He dismissed Maynard's claim of victimization, but Maynard and these workers aren't buying it.
It is a pattern now that we're seeing throughout the government service. In local government, there are persons who the local government minister is trying to get rid of. People at the high level, as senior administrators, are being let go. And you know, we as the Free National Movement is not going to sit down and allow the Progressive Labour Party to victimize Bahamians for political reasons or any other reason.
By the time our news team was done with our interviews today, we were informed by Maynard that a total of 41 urban renewal workers over in Grand Bahama were also given their walking papers today. We note that although these workers' contracts do not expire until June 30th, many of them say that they see no point in returning to work tomorrow. Reporting for NB12, I'm Charisma Robinson.
Well, convicted sex offender Bishop Earl Randy Fraser will remain behind bars for what's left of his 3-year sentence. Fraser's appeal against his conviction late last year was denied in the Court of Appeal today. Our Jasmine Bonamy sat inside court today, and she has all the details in this report.
In this 18-page document, Court of Appeal justices used some very strong words to describe the crime that Fraser was convicted of, calling him a man of the cloth who used his position to prey on a helpless teenager.
The 54-year-old was sentenced after he was found guilty on November 29th of having sex with a 16-year-old girl he was supposed to be counseling. Before the start of his hearing, a smiling Fraser was greeted by a female supporter as he waited to enter the court. But once inside, the former senior pastor of Pilgrim Baptist Church sat stoically as he waited to hear his fate. Arguments in Fraser's appeal wrapped up in late February. However, President of the Court of Appeal Justice Anita Allen and Justices Stanley John and Abdoulaye Conte decided to reserve their decision until this morning. In their judgment, justices considered the evidence presented during Fraser's trial before Deputy Chief Magistrate Carolina Bethel. Justice Allen told Fraser in court that they had considered all grounds represented by his legal team and found them wholly without merit. Allen then dismissed Fraser's appeal, saying they were satisfied that Fraser's right to a fair trial was not violated by the interventions of the magistrate. The ruling further stated the facts of the case reveal that Fraser is a sexual predator under the guise of a man of the cloth and counselor who abandoned all his obligations and responsibilities, including his commitment to uphold the teachings of the Christ himself, who commanded, "Suffer the little children to come unto me." The justices further chastised Fraser, stating he obnoxiously betrayed the young and vulnerable and emotionally fragile victim. They said Fraser disgustingly defiled the sanctum of his church, besmirched the good name of the men and women of the cloth, and brought shame and odium to his church, wife, children, and community. Notably absent today was Fraser's lawyer Jairam Mangra, who was said to be off the island. But during the appeal, Mangra argued that Magistrate Bethel made an error by convicting Fraser of having sex with a dependent. Counsel for the Attorney General's office, Franklin Williams, told our news team off camera that he was satisfied that justice was served. A stone-faced Fraser headed back to Her Majesty's prison this morning. There are still 2 years and 6 months remaining in his sentence. Reporting for NB12, I'm Jasmine Bonamy.
Well, in an effort to evade police capture after a high-speed chase, a group of men allegedly made a bold attempt to end the lives of members of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, which ended with fatal results. Royston Jones was on the scene early this morning. He filed this report.
In the early hours this morning, police were involved in a pursuit of 4 suspicious men that led to a shootout between police and them, of which 2 of the men were fatally shot in the St. Michael's Road area. According to Assistant Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson, officers were conducting a special operation in the Highbury Park area around 2 a.m. when they observed several suspicious-looking men in a dark gray Nissan sedan, which sped away when the officers attempted to stop the vehicle. A police vehicle pursued the car, which maneuvered several times before turning north on Soldier Road, then east on St. Michael Road, where the Nissan then traveled the wrong way up to the intersection of Prince Charles Drive near the Prince Charles Drive Shopping Center. However, the men were cordoned off as the car could not travel onto Prince Charles Drive because of the ongoing roadworks in the area, ultimately coming to a halt.
The passenger of this vehicle exited, brandishing a handgun pointed in the direction of the officers, who in turn opened fire on the suspect. He was fatally shot. The officers attempted to stop the vehicle that the suspect came from, and the driver attempted to overrun the police officers, who in turn opened fire on the vehicle, resulting in the driver of the vehicle being shot fatally.
Officers on the scene said that another 2 men who were in the Nissan were arrested, although the extent of their injuries is unclear. During the incident, none of the officers involved were injured. When MB-12 arrived, the riddled Nissan was still on the scene, and the bodies of the deceased were also still in the street, but were covered. Ferguson confirmed that police recovered the handgun. Coroner Linda Virgil arrived a short while later and inspected the bodies. The identities of the dead men were not confirmed. However, Ferguson says as investigations continue, this will be revealed to us. The men are believed to be aged in their late teens. At the time, police could not say if the men were known to police. Police officials say moving forward, officers will remain vigilant and determined to remove as many weapons off the streets and out of the hands of criminals.
As you see, persons are just driving about our streets with firearms, and the police is very, very vigilant. And you will find, moving forward, the police will continue to target criminals, persons who believe that they can run up and down the streets. It is very important that we continue to make the Bahamas a safe place for persons to work, visit, and play.
While investigations continue into this matter, Assistant Commissioner of Police Anthony Ferguson says he's satisfied with the special operations and saturated patrols being conducted by police in order to keep our country safe. Reporting for MB-12, I'm Royson Jones.
A suspect who was arrested in connection with the Cozy Time boating disaster in Abaco was charged before the courts today. 43-year-old Alphonse Etner, who also goes by the street name Capo, stands accused of being complicit in the deaths of all 11 people who drowned in that tragedy. Etner was shackled at the feet as Magistrate Janine Weish Gomez read him his charges. Because he hardly speaks any English, an interpreter had to be used to repeat the charges to him. Etner, a resident of Sandbanks, Treasure Key, Abaco, stands accused of 11 counts of abetment to manslaughter. It's alleged that he concerned with others at Treasure Key, Abaco, between Sunday, June 10th and Monday, June 11th, aided and abetted in committing the manslaughter of Jessica Baptiste, Shauna Baptiste, Whitner Tirolin, Ismona Pierre, Alviana Baptiste, Crescenti Joseph, Jermaine Joseph, Evansky Baptiste, Curtly Baptiste, Alonzo Joseph, and an unidentified woman. 5 of the dead are children. The others are women. There were 37 witnesses cited on court documents. Bail was not granted for the offenses, and Etner will be remanded to Her Majesty's prison until August 31st, when he will return to court to be served a voluntary bill of indictment, which fast-tracks the case to the Supreme Court. 28 passengers were reportedly on board the Cozy Time when it sunk about 2 miles off the coast of Hawksbill Key, Abaco, in an alleged human smuggling operation nearly 2 weeks ago. 7 men reportedly survived the disaster. There are still 12 people unaccounted for who police fear are dead. Police also have several other men in custody being questioned. Police are still searching for 52-year-old Chancellor Baptiste, who they believe was the captain of the boat.